Now a bit of a gear change, quite literally, but still very much with health in mind. From September next year, the Welsh Government has committed to lowering the speed limit from 30 to 20 on all residential streets to reduce accidents and make them safer.
It's a scheme that's been rolled out in 8 communities already, but not everybody's convinced it's the way forward. So Shireen Murphy went to Buckley in North Wales to find out why.
20 miles per hour, the lowest fixed speed limit in the UK. It's becoming more common across the country, usually in areas where vulnerable road users are frequently found. So, for example, outside a school.
But plans are afoot to hugely expand the use of this speed limit right across Wales. And it's expected to become the limit for all residential roads and busy pedestrian streets.
This time next year, around a third of all roads in Wales will have their default speed limit reduced to 20 miles per hour. It's already a reality on over 500 miles of roads there. It's significantly slower than the 30 miles per hour many of us are used to, and which I would like to think I have a bit of a sixth sense for.
Hiya, Tim.
Hi, Sherry. How are you?
Good, thank you. Nice to meet you.
You're carried away.
So in order to see if I can stick easily to that new lower limit, Tim Shellcross from the Institute of Advanced Motorists is going to put me to the test.
So, Tim, I'm going to drive this car at what I think is 20 miles per hour, and you're going to monitor it.
I am on my separate independent device, yes.
To make this difficult, the speedometer has been covered up, which is illegal on public roads. However, we are conducting this test on a private road under Tim's expert supervision. Do not try this at home.
You're good to go.
OK.
20 miles an hour.
Let's do it. Here goes.
So you
all good?
Estimate what you think is 20?
So this is what I think is 20.
You happy with that?
Yeah, I think so. So I feel like I'm going pretty slow. I'll turn around and go back, and then you can give me the result. Right, OK. How did I do?
3 points.
Did I go over?
You were, in fact, on the way back, you were just over 30 miles an hour.
Oh, my goodness. So, but I actually felt like I was going quite slow.
And that's the important point. Just get used to what the car feels like and sounds like at 20 miles an hour.
It's a sensation the people of Buckley in North Wales are having to get used to. They're one of 8 new areas where the 20-mile-per-hour limit has already been introduced. And as you might expect, with such a huge change right on their doorstep, this fairly peaceful town is now buzzing with differing opinions.
So what do you think about the new 20-mile-per-hour speed limit?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I agree with it by the schools, and I agree on the estates, because children are playing, but on the major roads, it's ridiculous. It's doing more harm than good.
People will get used to it. People don't like change, do they? If you know it's going to be 20 miles an hour to get to school, just leave 2 or 3 minutes earlier and you'll be OK, and there'll be less chance of killing somebody on the way to school in the mornings.
A petition calling on the Welsh Government to reconsider the speed limit reduction across Wales has gained over 45,000 signatures. Local councillor in Buckley, A.D. Dury, started the campaign.
So the new limits in Buckley are causing quite a stir. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Buckley is a commuter town primarily, so people tend to feed the industries from the Wirral, from Manchester, from Chester, which is our nearest city. It is creating more traffic rather than less, because it's taking people longer to get into town, get out of town. I think all people want is the main routes in and out of Buckley to be reverted back to 30, just so they can get on with their lives.
It's been reported that if a pedestrian is hit by a vehicle at 30 miles per hour, they are 5 times more likely to be killed than if they're hit at 20 miles per hour. And research also suggests that driving at lower speeds can create less particulate matter. That's pollution from tyre and brake wear.
How are you? Okay?
I'm good, thanks.
Nice to
Hiya,
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Rob Mackey regularly cycles and drives in and around Buckley. He is in favour of the change.
It will encourage the use of alternative transport walking, cycles, and obviously at a local level, it's just, you know, that encouragement. Don't get the car out, get your bike out. And if it persuades people not to drive through the town but to drive around it, that's all to the benefit of the community. And I think it's the wider community you've got to think about. And just the 20 makes the whole process of walking or cycling feel so much safer.
So do you think there should be exceptions to the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit?
Clearly, if it's a residential street where we're stood now, school down the road, that's got to stay at 20. There are areas where it is not appropriate, and there are going to be exceptions, and that has to be decided on an assessment of risk, not on who shouts loudest.
Elsewhere in the UK, other communities are campaigning to have their default speed limits reduced to 20 miles per hour. Some speed campaigners in the northeast are so passionate, they've even created fake speed cameras to slow people down. This one's a cleverly painted bird box. And pilot schemes in Surrey and Oxfordshire are also aiming to reduce the default limit to 20. All I want to do is make sure I drive the best I can when I find myself in a 20-mile-per-hour zone. And if anyone is well placed to offer some tips, it's the Institute of Advanced Motoring, who Tim works for.
If you're approaching a 20 miles an hour zone from a national speed limit road where you've been doing 60, 20 miles an hour will seem really slow. So for that first minute or so, keep checking your speedometer. Make sure you leave a good distance between you and the car in front so that you can see what's happening and you can slow down gradually.
I think the thing of being sort of going so slow is absolutely fine if everybody else is sticking to the rules.
Don't be intimidated by somebody driving right up behind you and trying to push you along. Watch for gradients, uphill as well as downhill. Make sure the speed isn't going to run away with you. And finally, find out if your car's got a speed limiter, and if it has, go and practice with it. It is a really useful device.
It does feel odd driving so slowly on a main road, but I can see the benefits to the pedestrians and to the cyclists. But whatever your views are on the new speed limit, it is the law. So buckle up, stick to it, and maybe make the most of those extra few minutes on your journey.
Great music taste.
Great song. But really interesting to see Cherie as well being put to the test there at 20 miles an hour. Well, we've had comments and some views come in. Georgina says that she likes the idea of having a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit on her road, but thinks without speed bumps, the new limit will probably be ignored.
Speed bumps.
And Chris says, I have an autistic child, so the idea of reducing the speed limit to 20 miles per hour is great, as it means lower noise levels, safer roads, and it's better for the environment.
Yeah, really serious topic, isn't it? Actually, Neil, this is something that affected you as a kid. You were in a car accident.
Yeah, when I was like 8, I got knocked over by a car. It was actually coming down a hill, and thank God it was driving slower, because if it had been like 30 miles an hour, it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah, the difference. Yeah, with that 10 miles an hour, it could be everything. It is really interesting. Obviously, everyone wants safer roads. Lots of people doing different things around the country. Actually, Wandsworth Council in London, they're trialling introducing a £130 fine for going over 20 miles per hour. So we'll keep our eyes on all of that.